This evening, government to impose taxes on high electricity consumers, citing overpeaking and subsidy challenges. Errant New Amsterdam driver faces multiple charges in court. 18-year-old killed in tragic Nabaclis accident as vehicle loses control during turn. In the region, Cuban economic crisis. Thousands of people immigrate to the U.S. And internationally, Iraq Reading fire. Relatives mourn victims in HAMDANIYA. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for October 2nd, 2023. I am Nabaclis. Thank you for joining us. First up, government is to impose electricity consumption taxes on high users. According to Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdeo, the government will soon be implementing a policy to tax companies that consume a large amount of electricity, particularly during peak hours. Dr. Jagdeo announced on Friday at the opening of the West Central Mall at Lenora on the west coast of Demerara. The Vice President explained that large self-generating electricity consumers are now reconnecting to the national grid since the government has been subsidizing electricity costs, causing the overpeaking of electricity consumption. The situation is compounded by the current high temperatures being experienced, which has led to higher use of air conditioning units and fans. The Vice President added that as a result, the demand now in a single night is 180 megawatts with only 174 megawatts of installed capacity, so taking some persons off the grid is now necessary. Nevertheless, the government will be investing in an additional 30 megawatts of power expected before the end of the year. Additionally, the 300 megawatt Wales Gas to Energy project will come on stream next year, which is expected to improve electricity supply and reduce costs significantly. In other news, Prince Sinclair, the Errant New Amsterdam driver, who faced charges of hitting Constable Fredericks and driving away with him on the car's bonnet, appeared at the New Amsterdam Magistrates Court on Friday, September 29th. Sinclair appeared before Magistrate Singh, where he pleaded not guilty to the following charges: 4 counts of dangerous driving, prohibition of tinted glass, conduct of driver, maintenance of motor vehicle, stopping within 30 feet of a corner, wanton driving, disorderly behavior, and failure to stop when directed by a police in uniform. Sinclair was granted bail in the sum of $145,000. The magistrate also ordered him to lodge his passport. The trial is scheduled for Friday, October 27, 2023. We tell you now that another young life has been lost on the nation's roadway over the weekend. Police are investigating a fatal accident that claimed the life of an 18-year-old on the Nabaclis public road, East Coast Demerara, on Sunday, October 1st. 18-year-old Ganesh Mahabal of Blairmont, Mahika, lost his life when the driver of the car he was in allegedly lost control of the vehicle while negotiating a turn. Reports said that around 2 a.m., motorcar PAC 3435, driven by a 28-year-old from Blairmont, Mahika, was proceeding east along the Nabaclis public road. While negotiating a right turn, the driver lost control and collided with a GPL pole on the northern parapet, after which the vehicle toppled and ended up in a drain. 4 occupants, including the deceased Mahabal, were in the vehicle at the time. As a result of the collision, the driver and occupants in the front seat were flung out of the motorcar. The other 3 occupants in the rear of the vehicle were trapped in the car, and with the assistance of public-spirited citizens, the vehicle was pushed over onto the northern parapet and out of the drain. The injured persons were taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where Ganesh Mahabal was pronounced dead on arrival. The driver and remaining occupants were admitted, receiving medical treatment at the GPHC. Stick around when we return. Government launches Fire Prevention Month with focus on vigilance and safety measures. And the Ghana Police Force eradicate cannabis farm in Region 2 during narcotics eradication exercise.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. This is what I could do here.
Let's start improving your child grades today. Register for our primary or nursery department. Hidden Treasures, we're located at 204 East Half Charlotte Street between Camp and Alexander. Or contact us at 649-0373.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
All we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all we will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, white spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinate, soak for all you know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radical went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. As Fire Prevention Month commenced in Guyana, Minister of Home Affairs Robertson Ben highlighted the importance of fire prevention. He stressed the need for introspection and action to prevent fires, particularly after recent tragedies like the Ahmadiyya fire. Minister Ben conveyed these sentiments while speaking with reporters on the sidelines of the 49th Fire Prevention Religious Service at the Guyana Fire Service Headquarters on Homestretch Avenue on Sunday. He emphasized the importance of fire preparedness, including the installation of smoke detectors and other preventative measures, and called for vigilance at all levels of society. He expressed concerns about the increase in maliciously set fires and called on communities to be vigilant against such acts. The minister stressed that the country cannot bear the physical and human losses caused by fires. Fire Chief Gregory Wickham emphasized the significance of Fire Prevention Week, focusing on enhancing public awareness and implementing proactive safety measures. The Guyana Fire Service has plans to conduct outreach activities in markets, schools, and public spaces to promote fire prevention, with this theme being "For the Future of Our Nation, Practice Fire Safety and Prevention." In other news, during a narcotics eradication exercise carried out on Saturday, September 31st at Underneming Sandpit, Essequibo Coast, police ranks uncovered a plot of land measuring about 2 acres in length with about 500 cannabis plants ranging from 3 inches to 12 inches in height. The ranks also found one makeshift camp containing kitchen utensils and other gardening materials. No one was seen in the area. The farm was eradicated and the camp was destroyed by fire. Samples were taken from the cultivation farm. The operation was spearheaded by the regional police commander and deputy commander, among other ranks. Don't go away after the break. Threats of rape still stalk Sudanese refugee women in Chad, says social workers. And Iraq wedding fire. Relatives mourn victims in Hamdaniya.
them, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. Here's Credit. And today, all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all we will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, white spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you don't know nothing, with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radical went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Beccaphonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In Cuba, economic turmoil is one of the many reasons why people are leaving the country in record numbers. Many are flying to Central America before trekking north. Al Jazeera's Ed Agustin has this report.
While their country staggers through an economic crisis with no end in sight, Cubans are leaving in unprecedented numbers. This medical student plans to fly to Nicaragua before journeying up to the US-Mexico border. He insisted on anonymity for fear of reprisals.
Of the countries for which you don't need a visa, Nicaragua is closest to the US. That's why people fly there.
He'll pay $5,000 for flights and a people trafficker.
Either I get there or I die. Those are my two options. I can accept dying in the hands of a coyote or during the journey, but I won't die as an old man lining up for food here in Cuba.
He says the island's become a desert. Most of his friends have already left, and around half his class who began studying medicine 4 years ago has since vanished. Those who can leave legally. Anna Delia waits while her mum collects a long-awaited US visa. When the time's right, she also plans to leave.
Almost everyone is leaving.
In the last 6 years, ramped-up US sanctions have hurt the island's economy, knocking billions of dollars a year off state revenues. At the same time, the post-Castro generation of politicians seems short on ideas and have been unable to lead their country out of these economic troubles. Few think things will improve. Hopelessness pervades. Emigration's been part of the Cuba story for generations, but that trend's accelerated since the pandemic. A record number of Cubans emigrated to the US last year, and most young people I speak to say they'd like to leave too. Some Cubans say their island's a prison without bars. And yet, if they can make it to the US's southern border, they have privileges other Latin Americans don't enjoy.
If a Cuban arrives at the US-Mexico border and asks him why he wants to come to the US, the classic response is, because I want freedom and human rights. And without providing evidence, the immigration official has the authority to grant him entry to the US.
This week, the Cuban government announced more austerity measures to tackle diesel shortages. This mass exodus has no end in sight. Ed Augustin, Al Jazeera, Havana.
A lack of resources to support rape survivors has left thousands of Sudanese women with nowhere to turn. Healthcare and social workers in Chad refugee camps says most cases of rape are not reported for fear of stigma. Pregnancies resulting from such attacks are rarely terminated because of cultural and religious beliefs. Moreover, the victims are often left to deal with the stigma and trauma alone. Al Jazeera's Ahmad Idris reports.
Asma is not her real name, but her pain is. A survivor of rape, she is inconsolable.
I cried for help after 2 of the attackers threatened and later gagged me with a piece of cloth. They forced me into a room.
She says they raped her repeatedly because she refused to disclose the whereabouts of her husband, an activist. This wasn't the first time Asma was assaulted. In 2022, before her wedding, she tells us, she was also raped. She says she couldn't tell anyone then, not even her family, for fear of rejection.
I went to the hospital but couldn't bring myself to tell the nurses I was raped.
Healthcare workers say there are hundreds of unreported cases of sexual violence among the women and children arriving in eastern Chad after escaping the violence in Sudan.
Doctors say most cases of rape are not reported because of fear of stigma. Pregnancies resulting from such attacks are rarely terminated because of cultural and religious beliefs. The victims are often left to deal with the trauma and stigma alone.
Social worker Habib Abdurrahman admits a major crisis is unfolding, as many survivors of sexual violence have been rejected by their families.
If we could get help, the victim's recovery process could begin, but at the moment there's nothing to work with. When you go to the hospitals, there aren't even enough beds for emergency cases.
Hospitals and aid agencies are focused on providing food to more than 400,000 refugees and treating the critically ill. Rape cases aren't a priority right now, which means survivors of sexual violence like Asma must find ways to bear their grief and pain in silence. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Adre, on the Chad-Sudan border.
A religious ceremony has been held in northern Iraq for victims of a fire that swept through the site of a wedding on Tuesday. At least 107 people were killed and many are still missing. Al Jazeera's Mahmoud Abdel Wahad reports.
The days go by, but the grief is still hard to bear. Bodies keep arriving at this church in northern Iraq after Tuesday's wedding fire that killed more than 100 people.
A saying we inherited from our ancestors goes, we were happily gathered until the storm dispersed us. Now we say, we were happily gathered until the fire destroyed us. I'm speechless.
This is the first Sunday Mass since the fire. Mercy for those who died, recovery for the injured, and patience for the victims' families. Those are the prayers of the people gathered here.
I can't imagine there'll be any more celebrations in HAMDANIYA after what happened. But we pray not only for the victims and their families, but also for this seemingly everlasting pain to be alleviated and for those unaccounted for to be found.
The deaths of so many people, including children, has angered and shocked many here. Church leaders want forgiveness for everyone.
النعمة الصحة القوة.
We've asked the Almighty to bestow His grace and patience on us all. We pray that we can live in peace and stability. May the Lord protect the Iraqi people and guide their leaders to the right path.
Families are now torn apart. Some have lost several close relatives. Worshippers here, including some of the victims' families, friends and neighbors, pray that such an incident will not happen again in their town. They're demanding justice, but say masses and prayers like this are the only solace they have for now. The loss is unbearable. To have what was supposed to be a happy event, a wedding, turn into sorrow in a matter of seconds. Forensic examinations are underway to identify dozens of bodies and bring closures to their families. While the church is likely to witness more grieving, more tears and more prayers. Mahmoud Abdul Wahid, Al Jazeera, Hamdaniya, Northern Iraq.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.